We have loved staying at this campsite in the Gila National Forest. I think it's probably in our top 10. Probably. It is so quiet here. We are, I think, a little over 20 miles from the nearest town. We're a quarter mile from the highway, so we can't hear anything. It is dead quiet, and we're the only ones camped here. Besides that, it is so incredibly dark at night. I'd have to look it up, but I think it might be certified dark here. I don't know. It should be, because it's really dark at night. But we've loved staying here. It's an interesting climate area. There's a little bit of desert vegetation, like there's some prickly pear and some yucca around. The ground is nothing but sand. There is no like soil here. It's all super sandy, which is probably the only downside of camping here. The trees are the shortest kinds of trees ever. There are no tall trees around at all whatsoever. I've loved camping here. We've even seen some hikers, because the Continental Divide is, I don't know, maybe a half mile away down this road a little farther. And that's really cool. I think the Continental Divide is one of those like through trails that takes many, many months to complete. So that's some dedication right there for sure. But a whole campsite review is gonna come out the Sunday after this video goes out. So don't worry, I'll have all the information on how you can find this campsite in that video. But today we're actually going to be exploring a national monument, the Gila Cliff Dwellings. And this is going to be the first national monument we have explored this year, and because our National Parks Pass has expired, we'll be able to purchase a new one, which is totally worth it. It's $80 for a whole year, and it gets you into all kinds of stuff. Day passes at national forests even are covered under that, so it's totally worth it. And these cliff dwellings, we've been wanting to go and see them, I don't know, it's been over a year now. They've been on our to-see list for a very long time, and now that we're in the area, we're very excited. Now it's about 6,000 feet elevation here, which means this time of year it's very comfortable, maybe even a little on the chilly side. We've had a couple nights that drop into the low 30s and high 20s. But other than that, during the day it has been so nice.
But before we go, we have an announcement. Actually, Jenny has an announcement.
Yes.
What is it, Jenny?
Oh, okay. Why started a second channel?
Boom.
I started a second channel. And it has nothing to do with Fate Unbound. It has nothing to do with our travels. It is purely a thing that I've always wanted to try, and that is gaming. And on my gaming channel, which is up and running, and I actually already have a video up. By now I might have 2, maybe even 3 of them up.
Yeah.
But there will be a link in the description to my channel. It is named Foxigen, spelled Foxigen, which is very interesting. But on my channel, I am mostly going to be gaming The Sims 4, and I'm sure most of you have at least heard of the Sims game and kind of know the mechanics of what it's all about. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it, but I'm really bad at following rules, so I figured what is a better way to follow the rules than to record it and force myself to follow the rules that way.
Yeah, no cheats.
No cheats.
But don't worry, nothing's happening with Fate Unbound. It's business as usual. Jenny, this is just something Jenny has been wanting to do for years now, and I finally pushed her into doing it, would you say?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Jenny, you've been wanting to do this, just do it. So she finally did it. She's super excited, you guys, you have no idea. So you can bring a massive smile to this beautiful face right here by going and subscribing to her new channel, Foxigen. Our goal is to get her 1,000 subscribers, so please help us out. So if you want to see more of this and the occasional pet cameo, Butters, Alice, Sweetie, they're all gonna be showing up every now and then. Go ahead and check it out. Yeah.
Maybe even David every now and then, if I can try and get him to play a little bit of The Sims 2. He likes the game, but he's not very good at it.
It's true. This this new channel is all Jenny, basically. So you won't see much of me, and that's probably a good thing because she's a lot prettier than I am. So, you know, that's totally fine. We're here at the trailhead that leads to the Gila Cliff Dwellings, and man, let me tell you, the drive to the National Monument is so long. From our campsite, it was a full 2.5 hour drive, but even from the nearest town, Silver City, it's at least an hour and 45 minutes, I think, and you're just winding through the Gila National Forest, up and down the mountains, but you're climbing elevation the whole way in. Now, we did leave our trailer behind in the Gila National Forest South, yes, a full 2.5 hours drive away from us. But if you'll remember in the previous video to this one, we installed security cameras that are watching our trailer as we speak on the inside and the outside, and we can connect to them with our cell phones to see what they're seeing. But you may be thinking, well, what good is that? You're in the Gila Cliff Dwellings National Monument. There's no cell signal there, and you're right. But we have a contingency plan. We have told Jenny's dad and my dad about the security cameras, and we've got their cell phones set up to be able to connect to them. So if the outdoor security camera detects motion, it will send an alert to my dad's phone and Jenny's dad's phone. And we've told them that if they receive that alert, to wait like 15 or 30 seconds for us to contact them, because we would receive it as well if we have signal. So if we have signal, we'll then send them a quick text message, be like, we got the alert, don't worry, we're taking care of it. However, if we don't let them know that we received the signal or the notification when we're places like this that don't have cell signal, then they know that they need to remote into the camera, see what it's seeing, and if there is someone that is messing around with the trailer, trying to break in or something, they have our GPS coordinates as well as a description on how to get to our campsite from the nearest city, so they can call 911 and alert the authorities, give them our GPS coordinates, hopefully send the police out to our trailer and stop whatever nonsense is going on. But that's the contingency plan, so even though we don't have signal, we're still fine. We feel like the trailer's safe and secure because our parents are watching it. So this is the first time we've left the trailer behind with these security cameras installed. So we actually, for the first time, feel completely secure without any worries, because we know that those cameras are watching our trailer for us. And you better believe that on the drive in here, we could not help ourselves. We just kept hopping onto our phones and checking the live view on the cameras. We could see the animals walking around in the trailer, and Butters and Alice and Sweetie, see what they were doing. It was kind of addicting and fun to check out what they're doing, and I wish I could check now. I did record a little bit of them when we were driving in, so it was fun, and we could see the outside of our trailer, see that there was no one there. So just the peace of mind we got from those is huge. So if you're interested in those cameras, then go check out that video, and we'll also place a link in the description below. But we're here at the trail that leads into the Cliff Dwellings, and it is a full mile loop trail to go there and back, but they're about halfway in, so they're only about a half mile away. It's supposed to be a fairly easy hike, but at one point there is a decently steep elevation gain of 100 or so feet. But yeah, let's go check them out. wandering through these cliff dwellings is incredible. You just really get a feel for what it was like to actually live here, and just the echo from inside as you're talking. You sort of wonder what it sounded like with all the people living inside these cliff dwellings. You know, just there had to be just a constant din of all the goings on inside. I can just imagine what it sounded like. And there's even 700-year-old corn cobs left behind. So just that like link to the past is so cool to see, even though it's something as, you know, disposable as a corn cob. But the people that used to live here are called the Mogollon people, and I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name because, you know, these little pamphlets they give you, they don't tell you how to pronounce it, so you just kind of do the best you can, and then once you get internet signal, you look it up later. So I'm sure you'll all be correcting me on how I said that, but they built this in 1280 AD, and believe it or not, they only lived here for about 20 years. Just one generation lived in these cliff dwellings before moving on. And why they spent all the time, you know, building here just to leave 20 years later, no one really knows. And no one really knows why they moved to these dwellings in the first place either, these cliffs. They think that there was some sort of strife going on at the time, some sort of war or battle. So they moved from their villages that used to be out in the plains into these cliff dwellings because they're a more defensible position. And if that's the case, then they serve their purpose because there's no evidence that there was ever a battle, any sort of fight here. The biggest advantage of having cliff dwellings like this is obvious though. It's protection from the elements, from the rain and the heat. You know, we're standing out here in the sun, and while it's not a very hot day, it's like 73, 75 right now, the sun is really hot. But once you start to walk into these cliff dwellings, the temperature just instantly drops to it feels like it's like a 20-degree drop. It is so much cooler. It feels so good. And the wind that's blowing through these caves feels awesome. So no doubt they very much enjoyed staying cool in the hot New Mexico summers. An interesting fact though is that the soot that's on the ceilings of these caves actually predates the Mogollon people. So archaeologists believe that people have been coming and going from these cliff dwellings for thousands of years. But for some reason, the Mogollon people were the only ones that decided to make a home here and stay here for a period of time, despite the fact that it was only 20 or so years. But we cannot stress enough how thankful we are that the Park Service actually lets us walk through the cliff dwellings. You know, things that are this historically significant typically are, you know, like walled off. You can't go in, but you can look at them from the outside. You know, they're awesome enough being able to see the outside of them, but to be actually able to go in gives a whole different experience. You get to sort of think what it was actually like living there. You get to put yourself in the shoes of the natives that lived there. And I'm just very thankful for that, because stepping out and looking in doesn't give that same experience. So what is all this?
This is my lemon garlic shrimp recipe. which can be found on Patreon. All my recipes are for patrons only, and
Secret recipes page.
yes, there's a secret recipes page. If you guys are interested, you can go check that out. And the reason I'm cooking right now is because the drive from our campsite to the Gila National Forest and back, in total, I think was 5 hours of driving. Just driving. That doesn't include exploring the Gila National Forest. So we are 2.5 hours away from the cliff dwellings where we're camped at. Well, as you can imagine, by the time we finally made it home, we were both starving. So I instantly started cooking dinner. And my mouth is watering just talking about it, actually, because I'm that hungry. I almost forgot to mention... What?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you thought we were ready to eat. I almost forgot to mention that there are campgrounds in the National Forest, and there are ones that, you know, they're dry camping, just like we're doing out here, but they're not really dispersed camping where we can fit a trailer in. And...
Well, they're not as secluded.
Definitely not as secluded. No, we don't have any neighbors where we are here, which is, you know, how we like it. But we drove past a few of them, and sure enough, I think the closest one was 3 miles into the National Forest, and I'm not kidding. It was really weird. When you went past the National Forest sign, it was dead.
Yeah.
Dead zone. You can't, there's no signal, no calling, nothing. So we wouldn't have been able to have any signal, plus that was 20 miles north of town, so we'd have to drive into town for signal. Here, we have signal, and we're 20 miles from town.
And it's strong 4G signal,
Very good signal. So I don't regret camping this far away at all, because even those campgrounds are still like an hour-and-a-half drive to the cliff dwellings, so...
Yeah. But this is our last day here. Even though our time here has been awesome, we're excited for where we're going next. We're going and hanging out at an alpaca farm. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's for next week's video, though. See you guys later.
Bye. Now you can eat.
Thank you. This is delicious. Oh my goodness. Isn't she incredible? Wow. I love it. So good.